now speaking to GOP lawmakers. Trump has emphasized that terminating the filibuster is the only way to pass the legislation, warning that failure to act would lead Republicans in a very bad direction. It would prevent any sort of meaningful policy progress as well. Listen in to what Donald Trump has stated.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass to make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption, because, you know, they pass through too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote and they want your card. Even me, I went into Palm Beach. You go in to vote, they want your card. You're this, you're that. They say, I'm sorry to do this, sir, but I have to look at your identification. I said, that's all right. I love that.
All right, there, of course, viewers, you've just heard what Donald Trump has had to say. Maresha, my colleague, is still with us. Maresha, we've been discussing what's taking place in the United States as far as the government shutdown is concerned. It's broken the record. It's entered its 36th day, of course, following numerous federal workers, around 750,000 to be very specific. There are billions of dollars on the line. Losses amounting to multiple billions are expected to take place as every day goes by. But the Republicans and Democrats are not really coming on the same page. They've both, stuck their foot in the ground, and they've stated that we will not move from our position. Now, what's interesting about the filibuster rule is, Maresha, that it requires 60 votes for the budgetary bill in the Senate. Republicans hold 53 seats. They are 7 short of that magic number. Walk our viewers through what Trump is trying to do, how he's trying to bypass this, and of course the concerns he's raised in the aftermath of the Democrats sweeping the mayoral elections in New York, the gubernatorial elections in New Jersey and Virginia as well, and the fact that he's basically called mail-in ballots as fraudulent.
Yes, well, Pia, echoing your thought, I would firstly start to mention that this is the longest government shutdown that the US has actually seen. This is actually rather a monumental, or rather a very notable instance, because unlike any other government, right now US is facing its longest US government shutdown. Now, like you mentioned, Trump has called for the removal of the US Senate filibuster rule as the government shutdown is still in place. Now, like you also very rightly mentioned, that the filibuster rule requires 60 votes in the Senate to pass most legislation, and the Republicans already hold a 53 to 47 majority. Now, Trump says that the filibuster rule is blocking action to reopen the government. This is a conflict in opinion between the Senate. There is still no agreement in sight, I would like to mention, as the Senate Republicans push for a temporary funding bill until late November. Now, basically, while Democrats demand negotiations to renew federal health care and tax credits. I would also like to point out that the government shutdown has kept much of the federal government closed since October 1st, impacting, like you mentioned, almost 750,000 workers. This is a record number. This is a huge amount and a huge class of working professionals or laborers in the United States. Some federal employees continue to work without pay, including law enforcement and immigration officers, while troops are also receiving very little pay, minimum. From what they have been receiving. This has put hold on the economic baseline of the US. Professionals are struggling. It is imperatively hard for people in the United States to survive, let alone go for work on a regular basis.
Indeed, and many have been laid off as well. Marisha, what else can you tell our viewers about Trump, of course, coming out and decrying the mail-in ballot system? He's, of course, also been pushing for mandatory citizenship proof and voting IDs to be checked before people go and cast their votes. This is something that the Republicans have been, raking up for quite a while. Elon Musk has been very vociferous on X throughout the year.
Well, yes, Pia. To give you a little bit more and viewers a little bit more insight about the mail-in ballots, let me tell you how this works. Basically, there is this concept or a convenience concept in place where voters can actually mail in their votes. These are called the mail-in ballots. Basically, you can mail in your votes if in case you cannot be physically present to put in your votes. Now, the reason why Trump has said that they need to be removing or the condemnation of the mail-in ballots is because it can be used to manipulate the votes. It can be manipulated, votes can be manipulated, and also for people who, let's say, are trying to overthrow the Senate votes in an illegalistic manner. This is why there's this common notion that Trump would condemn the mail-in ballot votes to come through. Now, but this obviously restricts all those who have disabilities. Let's say people who are senior citizens who cannot physically travel or cannot travel to cast in their votes. This creates a hindrance in the whole voting process in itself. So considering all of this, he has also condemned the filibuster rule like we spoke about before, where he is, where there needs to be nothing that could distract the voters from voting or create a prolonged shutdown in the government in itself.
All right, Marisha, stay on with us. We're tracking more news, this time from Europe. We're now learning that Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Šakna has urged China to halt its economic support for Russia and the war.